Hello everyone, welcome to Barca News. It is June 21st, 2025, and Barcelona have taken the first step towards the return to the Spotify Camp Nou. Also, Hansi Flick is yet to speak to Mark Ter Stegen in regards to the departure of the German goalkeeper. And finally, both Bayern Munich and Athletic Club Bilbao are looking to derail Barcelona's plans to sign Nico Williams. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Mo, and we'll begin this video with the news that Barcelona have taken the first steps towards their return to the Spotify Camp Nou. As you know by now, the Spotify Camp Nou is undergoing major renovations. Barcelona are hoping to return to their home stadium by the end of September, after the end of the first FIFA international break. And well, now Barcelona have taken the first steps toward this planned return by applying for 2 permits with the city of Barcelona for construction and activity. These 2 permits will allow Barcelona to operate the stadium while still doing construction on it, because of course, as you know by now, when the Camp Nou reopens, it's going to be at 60% capacity. It's not going to be 100% done until 2026. Now, the city commission or the city council will have 2 weeks to process these 2 permits. And then the second phase will consist of Barcelona applying for an occupancy permit. And this occupancy permit is the permit given to new buildings when they open. And this will be done with the district of Les Corts, which is where the stadium is located. And finally, the last 2 permits that are still pending are permits for the installation of evacuation walkways. Once all these permits are done, Barcelona will be allowed to operate the stadium, because again, unlike Real Madrid, whose permits expired back in, I think it was 2000, 2001, Barcelona are actually doing things the legal way. Anyways, on to the next bit of news, and this one is a sad one, because ladies and gentlemen, Allegri Garrido has officially left Barcelona. Now, the 21-year-old promising midfielder was the captain of Barca Athletic during last season, where unfortunately he was unable to prevent their relegation. And after spending many years, I think it's 12 years that he was at the club ever since he was a little kid, he has decided to leave in order to join Eibar in the 2nd division. Now, Allegri Garrido's contract expired this summer, which meant that he left as a free agent. And the reason why he decided not to renew his contract with Barcelona was because he did have a lot of physical problems during the last 2 seasons. So he kind of saw that as an impediment for him to make it into the first team. Plus, as we know, there's a surplus of midfielders on the first team. And in fact, Hansi Flick never even called up Allegri Garrido to the first team, unlike Xavi Hernandez, who gave him his debut. So of course, Allegri Garrido saw that his way to the first team was nearly impossible, so he decided not to renew his contract. He left to Eibar, and he actually posted a very emotional goodbye video, because after all, he's been at Barcelona since he was, I think, like 5 or 6 years old. Very young. By the way, I forgot to mention something really quick in regards to the Spotify Camp Nou. As you know, Barcelona were planning to do kind of like a test, where they were going to invite 25,000 people to the stadium. No matches or anything, just invite them for free. Watch kind of like the flow of traffic, how people move around the stadium, how they get to the seats and how they exit, so they can plan the construction around those walkways or pathways, however you want to call it. Well, it seems that Barcelona are not going to be doing this test because there's not enough time. So instead, the Joan Gamper trophy match will act kind of as a test to see how, people get in and out of the stadium. That way, the construction company can move things around, because as you know, the construction will continue. And of course, as it continues, there's going to be machinery, there's going to be cranes, etc., etc. So they need to know where to place everything so people can get in and out of the stadium. So the Joan Gamper trophy match against Como will act kind of like the test, where 35,000 people will be allowed to attend this match. All right, let's get back to the news, since I did forget to mention that little bit of news. But now we have to talk about Mark Ter Stegen, because Hansi Flick is yet to speak to the German goalkeeper. Now, as you know, Barcelona have signed Joan Garcia, and the plan is for Joan Garcia to be the number one, with Szczesny being number two, which means that Mark Ter Stegen will have to leave the club. And it's reported that Flick has yet to meet with the German goalkeeper. So Ter Stegen, as far as he knows, no one from the club has told him that the plan is for him to leave. And the reason why Flick has decided not to speak to Ter Stegen is because Flick has kind of like a personal rule where he doesn't like to interrupt players on vacation. He also doesn't like to have these kind of conversations over the phone. Hansi Flick believes that this is kind of a face-to-face conversation. So what the German coach will do is wait for Ter Stegen to come back from vacation, then sit down with him face-to-face and let him know, hey, if you want to stay, that's cool, but just know you're not going to be getting any playing time because the plan is Joan Garcia being number 1, Tech being number 2, and then the hope is that for Ter Stegen to kind of like decide to leave on his own, given that the World Cup is around the corner, and of course Ter Stegen is gonna want to have minutes in order to start for Germany in the 2026 World Cup. Now, there are also reports stating that there's a little bit of doubt in Barcelona in regards to the fitness of Ter Stegen because, as you know, he injured his knee, and that's the second time he's injured the same knee. It's the same injury that he's had twice. So some reports are saying that there's doubts about his fitness. I don't know how true these reports are. It could be just another story that Barcelona are leaking in hopes to push the player out. But again, it's all going to depend on that conversation between the goalkeeper and Flick, which I think once that conversation is had, Ter Stegen will most likely leave because, after all, one thing's to hear it from the media. Another thing is that, Flick sits down with you respectfully, face-to-face, and say, hey, look, there's no space for you here on the squad. Now, speaking of conversation with players for their exits, as you know, Flick and Deco are also set to meet with Andreas Christensen. Because even though Flick would prefer to keep Andreas Christensen, Deco is against that idea. He sees this as a good market opportunity. Christensen is someone that arrived as a free agent, so whatever money we get for him will be pure profit for the club. Plus, you can remove his salary, a first-team salary, and then have him be replaced with someone from the academy. Because after all, Christensen is going to be a bench player, so Deco thinks it's better to have a bench player from the academy who has a very small salary versus a bench player like Christensen who has a bigger salary and, again, who you can make money off if you put him on the market. So both Deco and Flick are set to meet with Christensen once the vacation is over to let him know, hey, it's better if you leave in order to get more minutes. And then looks like there are options for Christensen because Milan, Chelsea, some Bundesliga clubs and even some Saudi clubs have already inquired about the defender. So if he does decide to leave, he does have some options to go to, including his former club, Chelsea. Now, we will end today's video with the news that Bayern Munich and Athletic Club de Bilbao are looking to derail Barcelona's plans to sign Nico Williams. Now, as you know, Barcelona have already reached an agreement with Nico Williams so he can join the club on a 6-year contract until 2031. Barcelona are now awaiting the new fiscal year to activate the clause of Nico Williams and register him because Barcelona expect to be under the 1-to-1 rule. And while the news is that Bayern Munich are making a one last push, even though Chelsea and Arsenal have already withdrawn from the race, Bayern Munich are not losing hope. And in fact, their sporting director, Max Eberl, abandoned the Club World Cup. He left the United States, flew to Germany in order to meet with other members of the board of directors to plan next season. And during this meeting, it was, insisted upon that Nico Williams is a priority for Bayern Munich. So they're going to try to do another last-ditch effort, another push where they're going to offer Nico Williams a better deal, a better contract than they had previously offered him to see whether they can convince Nico Williams to abandon his plans to join Barcelona and instead join the Bundesliga club. Now, as far as we know, Nico Williams is not in favor of leaving La Liga, whether it be to the Premier or the Bundesliga. He prefers to stay in Spain, and of course, his number one objective is to arrive in Barcelona, as he made it very, very clear to the club through his agent by even saying that he's willing to accept whatever offer they make him. Now, Bayern Munich are not the only ones who are looking to derail Barcelona's plans. Athletic Club de Bilbao also want to convince Nico Williams to stay. In fact, they want to give him the highest salary on their squad. They're willing to offer him a 10 million euro net salary, more than what he's going to be earning at Barcelona, 7 to 8. And Athletic Club Bilbao have reportedly enlisted his family to try to convince him to stay. As you know, Nico Williams plays with his brother, the other Williams brother. Also, the parents. The parents also work at the club, and it's reported that Athletic Club Bilbao have reached out to the parents and to the brother in order to try to come to have them help the club convince Nico to stay. But as we know, Nico Williams has made up his mind. He wants to go to Barcelona. And in fact, it's expected that Nico Williams will inform Athletic Club de Bilbao in the upcoming days of his decision to join the Blaugrana club. Anyways, that is all the news for this video. We'll be uploading another video in a few moments, so stay tuned to the channel. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment. And as always, Visca Barça.